Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. It's just after 6 in the morning. I hope you're all well. I think the last time we done this, I was doing some of the boats or preparing some of the parts to paint. We did all the black stuff. I did the flue, and there's a whole bunch of the grey stuff to be painted. That's right, all this stuff in here had to be done in grey. So I think what I'll do this morning is I'll get started on that and start painting that up. Of course, right after I finish my coffee. Just while I'm here, there was a bunch of other stuff that I took out. And I'm going to take a couple of ladders out. There's one ladder in here. So everything that's in here has to be done in the dark grey. There's a whole bunch of little tiny bits and pieces in there. So that's dark grey. I'll probably do those while I'm at it as well, and I'll bring you along and show you when I'm doing it. In the meantime, just while I'm finishing off my coffee, I just thought I'd have a look at these guns. Now, that's one that's sitting there in place, and that's the correct colours for the ship. And I was thinking, what colour am I going to do these? So I think what I came up with is so that we can see them out. This is in its raw plastic state. I thought that I would do the same light grey on the flue here, and then I might even touch up the ends with this colour here. I think what we might do with the smaller guns, we'll do it with the lighter grey, and then we'll hit it with the other camouflage colour, and then some panel accent colour, black. I was just thinking while I was waiting for the paint to dry, I've just done the light grey or the medium in all the camouflage for the hull of the little boats. I got a couple of these to do. I might even try a bit of that floor out. And recently I've been watching a fair bit of Ron Calvary, and he always cuts miles away from the actual part that you want. And then with his fine glasses, he gets in and he chops them out. Now, I've been one for chopping up close the first time, but there's no denying that's a little easier than what cutting directly off the sprue is. So we can all take something away, and check him out. I really like his stuff anyway. So yeah, that's Ron Calvary. Yeah, I've watched quite a lot of his videos. They're good, they're entertaining. He doesn't do a whole lot every day, but he doesn't have to. So yeah, go and have a look. So what I was thinking is, now that these are all grey, I could probably hit these with the light camo just here. And we will use the accent colour for the definition. Do I need to do something on these? I don't know. Well, I'll have a look. I'm just going to use the watered down spray stuff just to give these a little more definition, and not too many coats, just enough to say I'm not grey. Yeah, that looks quite good. Just on the end there, roll it around. I mean, they're only small pieces, so this is not a huge amount. I'm not using my big lens at the moment, so this is a little harder for me. Yeah, it just kind of stands out a little bit. Nothing too thick. There we go. Pretty happy with that. And I think what we'll do, I'll do a bit more on that one. Put my brush down over there. Let's see now. So with the accent colour, I've been using a toothpick to also dab it into the portholes. So they don't stand out, they just stand out a little more than just a plain colour. It is only a very subtle difference. So I'll open this one up, grab this gunner here. Let's have a look. I'll zoom in. Right, there we go. We'll take all the excess off. And you know what? If this doesn't work out, we can always redo it. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's try a bit on the floor. Not bad. I think we might just roll it around a little more. I think what I'll do, without re-dipping the brush, I think I'll just hit these. And we'll leave the front section untouched, as in not like as in grey just here. And that'll just make it stand out. Yeah, that'll work. That's still camouflaged. Not really sure how this happened, but I'm going to try and fix those. So what I did, I put the tiniest little bit of glue on there, which will soften this stuff. And then I just very, very carefully moved it around. I did the top layer first, and I'll come back and I'll do the second layer the same. And then once it dries, because this stuff is still pretty pliable for a little while. So when I say a little while, I mean like in an hour's time, I'll come back and I'll just give it just a nip of glue just to stiffen it up a bit. So yeah, I don't know how that happened, but I will definitely fix it. So that's one side done. So a little bit of work later and they are all repaired. They look pretty good. Won't notice them now. So I'll just let them dry off, and then I'll hit all of these with the accent colour in a minute and finish them all off. There's that one, and there's the one that we already did, which is, yeah, it's subtle, but it's enough. Well, there we have our guns on, our small guns. I will continue on with something else. While I'm here, I'm going to prepare these and put the middle grey on these as well. You may be asking, why didn't he do all the boat hulls all together? The problem is there's so many different size boats and they all go in a different spot that I didn't want to mess them up. So I'm doing it in a way that I kind of understand where they all go. Just looking at the plans while I've got some of the middle grey out, and we're calling this one our middle grey. Looks like I'm going to have to shoot a couple of these torrents with some of the colour, except for this one. This one looks a lighter colour, and this one has a splash of the dark. That's that side, so that is to the front in the light grey. If we flip it over, there's to the front, light grey, but it has to have another tone put on it. And the third one, what does that one do at the back of the other one? So the other one has, so if we do, oh, and the last one has a bit of, so they all have a bit of grey and a bit of the light and some of the dark. So if we hit them all up with grey first, and then we can just put on whatever the off colour is. Sorry, I didn't realise you weren't in the screen. So yeah, so there's grey. And this is the lighter colour, but with the darker grey. If we flip it over, that's the front, so this is light grey, or the medium, and medium. So I'll hit all those with grey while I've got it out. I also painted the smaller the mask in the light grey, and the bigger one I'll do in the darker grey. There's my little boats done, and yes, I know I'm painting this morning without gloves. That's quite alright. Okay, so that one went with that boat, and that one went with that boat, and then we have the other two that are slightly bigger, but identical. I was just thinking, because this is a camouflage boat, would I be better off to do, that's the bottom in the grey and the top in the camo? with the floor kind of popping through. Yeah, that would kind of work. Because the floor would pop through and the grey. I might think about that one. That's a pretty good idea. So there's a bunch of colour. There's a bunch of stuff in the light grey. It just looks darker because of the light that I'm in, but that's all light. I'm sure if how do I get here? They look dark, but they're not. Now I've done all the guns in grey, and they're just drying at the moment. Let's look at the ends. So we got one of the lower ones, two of the lower ones in the dark, and two in the light. Now, I did talk about this, about making all four of these the same. I changed my mind in the end. I'm going to go two of the bigger ones and two of the slightly smaller ones. And that's just how it's going to be. Okay, so I'll get the guns out and spray them while I'm at it. Oh, that's on this plan. Let's flip it over, make sure it's the same in the other one. So, ooh, that's strange. I know. Yeah, too dark. Oh, one's a light one up here, so that's a light one. That is to the back of the ship. Okay, so we might do two dark, one light, no, one medium and one light. Okay, we can do that. I was just going through to try and find this one here, and it looks like I completely skipped this because I didn't do the boats or whatever. So I'll quickly make this one up now and add this with the grey as well, because I want this the light colour, or the medium. There it is, all glued together and cleaned up. I'll paint that while I've still got the grey out, or the middle grey. There's the four turrets, or the four guns, painted in the middle colour, which is the grey. Now, some of these have to have camouflage put on them in either the light or the dark. So that's what I'll do now. So now what I'll do is I'll paint them in their corresponding order to match the drawing here. So the slightly smaller ones are on top, the bigger ones down the bottom. This will need some grey, some dark grey around this side, and this one will need some light. Moving along, this one will need some light with the light grey, and possibly the same with this one as well. Now, I am not sure about the other side, and I'm not going to flip it over just yet. So I'll prepare this side first, and then I'll worry about the other side. There is the two cranes also painted. I do believe there's some winches or something on top, which I'll have to try and find those, because I think they'll have to be black or the darker grey. Probably the darker grey. I had to repair this. I broke the left-hand side off. I've just stuck it back on. So, come on, zoom in. Yeah, hopefully it'll dry all right and we can salvage it. This is tiny, tiny little motor on it. And they've got tiny little gears. I mean, I can get in closer. Come on, in you go. In you go. Yeah, it's got tiny little gears on there. So I'm going to have to rig that up as well, I think. Interesting enough. There's one off. Yep, I've been painting a lot of light grey this morning. Yeah, it's a nice little piece. So I'm going to spray that the darker colour, and we'll thread it up with some very fine cotton. Let's bring this back in to look at it. So I've got to put the box on here. Looks like the mast goes through here. I kind of like the generalized look of that. It looks pretty nice. So, and then around the back, so I've got to fit some boats here. 3, 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4 boats on here. And I've just got to finish the mast off, which I've painted all the parts. I've just got to glue it on. So I think I might get those next and sort them out. Yeah, it looks like I managed to save that one. Glued that one back on. Come on, here you go. Yeah, I really like that. So now I have all the guns all camouflaged in their right directions. And the only one that's needs more dark on is this one here, and the rest only now need light. So I'll put some dark on this with the rest of the colours, and I'll come back and add those as we go. I'll take that one away. I'm just waiting on some glue to dry in the stacks so I can then put the top on. We've got the rear on there already as well. So we just need some light and stuff to go in here, but they'll go on very last. And same with the boats. We'll put them on very last. But that piece is nearly ready now. So just like I said, I'm waiting for the top bit to finish drying. And then I can fit the top properly. And yeah, I think we'll move on to probably the last structure, wherever I put it. Here it is. This one here. Today I was just taking little snippets here, there, and just as I was painting a few bits and pieces and putting them all together. And I've only just realised the time's getting on, so I think we'll call this episode done for today. Like always, I hope you enjoyed this episode and the others, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye for now.